Welcome to Speaking of Entrepreneurship, a podcast powered by the Center for Entrepreneurs at Cuyahoga Community College's Corporate College. Here, we dive into real conversations with industry experts, innovative founders, and business leaders who share their insights, challenges, and strategies for success. Whether you're launching a startup, scaling your business, or just exploring the entrepreneurial mindset, this is your space to learn, adapt, and thrive.
Welcome to another episode of Speaking of Entrepreneurship, where we explore the journeys of bold visionaries building businesses, creating jobs, and reshaping communities. Today, we're joined with a powerhouse entrepreneur, Ariane Kirkpatrick. She is the founder and CEO of Aka Team. Welcome, Ariane.
Thank you very much.
So excited to be having this conversation with you.
I am excited to be here with you, Heather.
I am very interested for our listeners to learn more about how you built your business. From what I understand, from basement to boardroom. So talk us through how you got started.
Okay, my mom always teased me, and she said I was like the Pied Piper. Because I've always been this visionary, and I always wanted to do something big. And a lot of it came from where I grew up. I grew up on 100 and Cedar with many businesses, many Black-owned businesses. At this particular time, I didn't realize they were just Black-owned businesses. They were businesses. It was the corner, the grocery store, the right grocery store, Sarah and Jimmy, Beatrice Academy. The beautiful ladies that would go in to Beatrice Place to learn how to be cosmetologists, Art Seafood. My sister and I would go with my mom all the time, dressed up with the music going on, the twirl of smoke, and just the excitement after we would leave from concerts. So I knew then that I wanted to be a business owner. I just didn't really know what entrepreneurship really meant at that time.
So tell me, how did you get started? What were you doing before you started Aka Team?
Well, and it's the AKA team because it's actually a legacy. It's a legacy team. And so my sister and I, we joke and tease around of what the AKA is. My parents were Ariane and Ariane Kirkpatrick.
Okay.
So soon after they had passed away in 2004 and 2005, they died close together, we started the AKA legacy. And it was just a tribute to our parents that we knew that we wanted to build some type of legacy that they would be proud of. So some days it means Ariane and Ariane Kirkpatrick. Some days it means Ali and Chris.
Okay.
And Ariane, my two sons. But my sister loves to say that it's Ariane and Monica Kirkpatrick. So.
Okay. Well, so you've worked on some very iconic projects here in Cleveland. Tell us some of your favorite ones.
Each and every single one of them.
Okay.
Every time, and it's so funny. Going down the street and being able to point something out and say, "I put my hands on that project," or I employ a team of members, to be on that project. I would have to say one of my probably one of my most. Well, all of them are impactful, but early on when we were doing the Cleveland Museum of Art, we had a laborer. Where we were doing the restoration of the atrium. And I grew up at the Cleveland Museum of Art. I grew up right on 100 and Cedar. So he was on this project, and he had issues with reading a ruler.
Okay.
Something that you would think it was very simple. But it was not simple to him. And so the party that we worked for, the company we worked for, they wanted to lay him off and said that, he was of no use. He was good with his hands, but he couldn't read a ruler. He was no value. And so I decided we're going to teach this grown man to read a ruler because we don't know what the issues were on why he couldn't, and I wasn't going to judge him. So we had class after he got off work every day, and he would come to the office. At that time, we were in a little rickety old house, and we taught him how to use a ruler. And so he was able to stay on the job from beginning to end. But when he left that job, he gave me a card, which I have to this day. He gave me an angel. And he wrote in that card, "Thank you for letting me be a man to my family and to contribute." I still have the card. And it just, that's what we're here for.
Yeah.
And so that when I keep that reasoning for my reason.
Those are the most memorable.
So
who has been your angel?
Whoa, wow. You know what? My sister. It's funny because I just recently wrote something for a recommendation she had, But when we started the construction business, we had a commercial cleaning business.
Okay.
And me and my 2 sons moved in with my sister and her husband and her 3 kids and 2 dogs and a cat. And we moved in one house in Beechwood. We both lived in Beechwood, and we moved into this house. She was the only one in the family working. The only one that had a job while we started the business. We started the commercial clean business, Service Master by Davis, and then started the AKA team soon after. And she just held it down. She was a perfect wife. She cooked dinner, and she worked in the business also. She did
a lot.
Yeah, she did a lot. And I'm the oldest, so we sort of laughed. And I think maybe about 3 or 4 years ago, she gave me a card that says, "Thank you, big sister." So I guess I finally articulated to be the big sister. But yeah, so she's my angel, and my kids. My parents are obviously my angel in heaven.
Your guardian angels.
My guardian angels, and I have a support system with the best aunts you've ever seen in your life.
So you grew this business, you started it, and you grew it out of your sister's house. And it has grown tremendously, obviously, over the years. What were some of the key turning points, do you believe?
I think because let me just go back just a little bit. AKA team was my 3rd construction business.
Oh,
yes.
See, things I didn't know.
Right. I had mom and pop business. My first business was residential rehab.
Okay.
And so I loved it. And I was making quick money. I'm like, oh, I turned that house. Oh, this is cool. And then I found a code book in a vacant house, Ohio Basic Building Code, OBBC standards. And so I fell in love with just the code and how to do things, how to do it the right way. And I felt that was a differentiator between me and some of the guys that I was hanging out with as we were doing buildings. I'm like, oh, we have to build it this way. And this is what safety is about. And so that's what I started doing. So my second construction business was storefront renovation.
Okay.
And it was just fantastic. But in between that time, I got a restaurant. I'm a serial entrepreneur, and I got a restaurant. And that was very hard. And it took all my time for that restaurant. And soon after 9/11, everything just came crumbling down,
Okay.
and we closed up. Went and got a real job, but that code book helped me because I was the building inspector and then the chief of housing for the city of Warrensville. So I stayed in the construction industry. So that helps me. So the struggles. When I went back into business, I knew that I needed professional services. I needed an attorney,
Okay.
and I needed an accountant. And it sounds crazy, but I was absolutely happy to figure out how to pay my taxes, what 941s meant. But it just didn't come the way I thought it was, because one day I saw myself in Crane's newspaper owing $250,000 to the IRS. That was like a gut in my stomach. But it was something that I had to take ownership on, something that I had to learn from, something that I had to take control. I met with the IRS, and we came to a 20-year plan to pay this $250,000. And so we set the plan, me and my controller, we sat there, and the gentleman said, only 5% of the people come out of this plan. And I was like, okay. Watch, we're gonna do this. And I remember Carmen, she was sitting next to me, because as we were talking to him, we even had it timed when I was gonna start crying. And so it was so crazy. The tears couldn't come because I was just so shocked and everything. So then they told me that they were going to attach it to my personal income. And it wasn't a problem with me, but I had just married my wonderful, beautiful husband who counted on his tax refund every year. And I was like, how am I going to tell this man he's not going to get his refund? But anyway, we paid those taxes within 5 years. I had a party at my office for the IRS. I had champagne, and I had non-alcoholic for champagne.
Did you invite the IRS to come to the party?
They invited. They came to the party, and they had non-alcoholic champagne, and we tore up the lien.
That is awesome.
Yeah, you have to take ownership of your mistakes.
So it sounds like in your journey that you have really kind of taken ownership of self-teaching.
Most definitely.
Of, being intentional about learning from mistakes to position you for the next.
Yes. Yes.
In this industry, even I would assume doing residential rehab, then to storefronts, then to, large commercial construction, right? there's not a lot of people that look like you in this industry. At least you're the only one that I know. How has that journey been? How have you navigated?
Well, that journey has been absolutely tough. But it's something that you have to overcome, because if you sit and dwell in it, and you have the naysayers that are against you, because I think that almost was the worst part of it, because in my little rehabs and stuff, I didn't have people saying, "Oh, she's a fake company, she's fraud, she's this, she's that," and to get to cross over to this, I'm like, what's wrong with you people? And it was just wow. I mean, I had to overcome a lot of issues with the majority folks. I didn't expect to have to overcome it with folks that look like me. And I think that was the most heart-wrenching part.
So what are some of the things that keep you grounded, or, you think keep you balanced and prepared to kind of fight these fights, or keep face and, continue pushing forward in those moments?
You have to shut out the noise, and you have to concentrate on your business. I purposely decided to grow my business with a team, with a staff. And I remember a lot of people saying, "Why is she doing that? All she got to do is just sign and be part of these, the bigger companies' projects, and just send it to people.
Just be a sub.
Yeah, just be a sub." And that's not what I wanted. I wanted to make sure that I built wealth, not just for the AKA team, but for my community. I wanted to build financial wealth and educational wealth.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to make construction managers, project engineers,
Mm-hmm.
and make sure that they were proud of the buildings that they had the capacity to build.
Mm-hmm.
So capacity building for the business and the individual. I would brag more so about the payroll than our revenue. I know I'm supposed to be about the revenue and all, but what the impact that we were making to our team members, that's just like, wow.
How many team members do you start off with versus how many you have now?
We started off with myself and 3 laborers and my uncle.
Okay.
Yeah, so 5
Family
folks.
business.
Family business. And then I got a controller. She came and did an interview. I happened to have a $50 bill in my back pocket, put it out, gave it to her, and I said, "Can you start today?" And we sort of laughed, and we still tell that story. She started, she's hung with me ever since, and she's our controller now.
Uh-huh.
She was a bookkeeper then. She wasn't even really a bookkeeper. She was just like, "I'm gonna make this happen." So she was the bookkeeper, the marketer, the receptionist, and the office
All
manager.
the things.
All the things,
Mm-hmm,
yes.
Mm-hmm. But you have, helped her to develop a real specialization and skill set. So this is really kind of who you are. It seems like you really you find joy in, yes, seeing the big buildings being built, but really building family, individuals, and community.
Most definitely. A lot of the jobs that we have are created because of individuals, because someone's coming to me about, "Oh, I need a job." Well, I didn't need a job. This person needs a job, so let me create and go get this project. And let's see how we can manifest you into being the best that you want to be in this particular career. You may not have heard of project engineering or what it is, or construction marketing is different. Construction accounting is different. We have a finance division. We have a marketing division. We have our construction division, vice president's construction. We started development. So it's just.
What do you hope your legacy will be?
Wow. So I really want my legacy to be really about removing barriers, ignoring the barriers. It really reminds me of The Woman of Brewster's Place.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the movie, one of my favorite movies, one of my favorite books also. At the end of the movie, you had all these women in different walks of life living, and it was about the barriers moving. And at that end, they start taking bricks down, one by one. It's not just the ceiling up there, especially with folks that look like me. It's all the barriers we have around us.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to say she made a difference. She gave opportunities for folks that didn't think it was possible. We're building buildings, we're building relationships, we're building legacies, we're building communities.
What advice would you give to the little girl on 100 and Cedar?
So it's okay to be a visionary,
Mm-hmm.
but make sure you have reality along with your vision.
Mm-hmm.
That's important.
Thank you, Ariane. We will be back. We're going to talk about your next business because, as you mentioned, you are a serial entrepreneur, and I want to hear more about that.
Okay.
So stay tuned, and we'll be back for another episode with Ariane.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to today's podcast, brought to you by the Center for Entrepreneurs at Corporate College. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe, rate, and share with fellow entrepreneurs. Tune back in to stay connected with us for more insights and resources to help you build, innovate, and thrive.